from the Bahamas at the Hilton Hotel. Dare to be great with creator and host, Master Motivator Spence Findlayson. And now, here's Spence Findlayson.
Good evening and welcome to Dare to be Great, coming to you all the way from Nassau, Bahamas. This evening I'd like to talk to you about Tiger Woods and some other famous people. But before I get into that, I want to share something with you. Before I do my seminars and workshops anywhere in the world, years ago I used to use some music from a group, the song was called Eye of the Tiger, from the group Survivor. For the last couple of years, I've been using a very powerful song from Shekinah Glory called Your Name. And music is so important in moving you to the next level. Once I tune into that music, it takes me out into the ethos, out into the hemisphere, out into the next, wherever. But it's important to use music. Now, let me just share this with you. Focus is so important in order for us to be successful in our lives. Just recently, we've seen where the great Tiger Woods had a big meltdown. After coming through a serious challenge with his marriage, Tiger Woods' golf game just slowly diminished. See, golf is a game where you really need to have your wits about you, where you need to concentrate. Hitting that little white ball, you need to be focused. And it's clearly shown where Tiger Woods lost his focus after his marital problems. He, after winning so many championships at an early age, as a matter of fact, Tiger Woods caused a whole generation of people of color to follow the sport of golf. He lost just about every single tournament that he played in. Just recently, he was trying to make one of the United States teams, and they decided to put him on, but he's still playing poorly. And that's because of his lack of focus and so many other things going on in his life right now. And it doesn't only have to happen to Tiger. It can happen to you, anybody. Once we have situations, stressful situations going on in our lives, then we're not able to focus properly. And once we lose our focus, then we lose our success. Think of championship Olympic runners. And I want you to implement this into your personal life when you get up in the mornings. A championship elite athlete, like our Debbie Ferguson, like our Tony Williams-Darling, like our Chandra Stirrup, and like the Golden Girls and the rest of the elite athletes. When they get into the blocks for the 100 meters, each of them have a routine that they go through. It's a mental routine, it's a physical routine. They're mentally preparing for the 100 meters that's in the front of them. They have a laser-like focus. If you ever watch it, and the television always do that, they show the athletes when they announce their names, and you see them doing a variety of different things. Some are doing this, some are doing different things, some are praying, and so forth. But there's a routine that elite athletes go through in order for them to be successful. They're constantly focused just on that 100 meters that's in the front of them. And that's the kind of focus we need to have in order for us to be successful. Years ago, we had a racetrack here in the Bahamas called Hobby Horse Hall. And the horses had blinders on their eyes. And the reason for those blinders is that they could see straight ahead and continue to win a race. If they didn't have the blinders on, the horses would run here, there, and everywhere else. In your life today, friends, I'm telling you, you need to put on your own blinders so you can have that laser-like focus to be successful. You see, life is serious business, Life will knock you down so you can start up again. Life will take your sight so you can see again. Many times in this life you have to be killed a few times just so you can live. And if you take life casually, you would end up a casualty, so let's get serious about this life. But life is truly a celebration. I believe that any day above ground is better than a day below ground. Whenever I wake up in the morning and I have breath in my lungs and I'm in my right mind, I say, thank you, God. Because it means I have another chance to make it. It means I have another chance to complete what I started yesterday. Believe in yourself. Stay away from the negative people and the dream stealers. Friends in the Caribbean, the Bahamas, throughout the world, there are a lot of people who are simply dream stealers. They don't want to see you get anywhere, so they would discourage you from trying to accomplish your goal. They're called the dream stealers. Once you find out who they are, I would advise you to break off and run in very quickly to come out of their midst. The dream stealers. But constantly believe in yourself and believe in that power greater than yourself, then let go and let God have his way in your life. You see, I believe in the theory of the KISS theory, keep it simple, Simon. A lot of times we complicate our lives. But I want you to know tonight that you have greatness within you. And I want to continue to dare you to be great. Stay away from the negative people. Believe in your dreams. You know, William Shakespeare said that many of us go to our graves with our music still inside of us because we haven't had a chance to release it. And they tell me the richest piece of real estate anywhere in the world is a graveyard because that's where all the great ideas go. You see, I write articles for Caribbean Net News and Caribbean News Now. And I wrote an article of when life catches you on the blind side, what do you do? When you're blindsided about life. When you come home one day from work and your wife says, darling, I don't love you anymore. And as a matter of fact, I haven't been loving you for the last 10 years. What do you do? When you go to work that morning and they tell you, we don't need your services anymore. What do you do? When you come out into the parking lot and your prized vehicle has been repossessed, what do you do? When you've been evicted from your apartment, what do you do? When life catches you on the blind side, what do you do? And I wrote in that article that I do something very simple but profound. I just trust God, and it always works out. I just trust God, and it always works out. I got an email, Caribbean Net News sent the article to me by email. It came 8 o'clock that morning, and 8:05, I received an email from a woman in Denver, Colorado. And she says, thank you very much, Mr. Finlayson. I've just finished reading your article on when life catches you on the blind side. And she says, you reminded me of something that I'd forgotten, but it's so powerful. She said, I'm having some difficulty right now here in Denver. My daughter has given me some challenges. I'm having a problem at the University of Colorado where I am a professor, and I'm having some challenges in my relationship. But you reminded me something very powerful, to just trust God. And friends in Cayman, Jamaica, St. Kitts, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Turks and Caicos, all the way down in Guyana, and our friends in Barbados, I want you to remember this, that you have greatness within you, and your life is truly full of unlimited possibilities. Believe in yourself, stay away from the negative people. God bless you as you live your best life now.
You've been watching Dare to Be Great from the Bahamas with Master Motivator Spence Finlayson. For speaking engagements, seminars, workshops, retreats, and conferences, please call 242-364-4011. Dare to be great.
At Verbal Car Rental, there's only one number to remember, $39.99. Choose from compact or mid-size cars, and they're all just $39.99. And passenger vans that are $59.99. Also, with daily, weekly, and monthly rates available, you can enjoy even more savings. Visit us at any one of our convenient locations or enjoy our courtesy shuttle pickup and drop-off service to all hotels and the airport. Verbal Car Rental. It's where you drive the best for less.
Thanks. Bye. What airline takes you to Exuma, Bimini, and Freeport for only $139.99? Sky Bahamas.
I got my ticket. How about you?
And what airline takes you to Marsh Harbor, Abaco, or Cat Island for only $139.99? Sky Bahamas.
I've got my ticket. Now you get yours.
On-time flight schedules, large spacious aircraft. At Sky Bahamas, safety is our culture and service is our passion. For reservations, call 377-8993 or book online at www.skybahamas.net. Sky Bahamas, come fly with us.
Welcome back to Dare to Be Great. This evening, my guest is Mr. Youri Kemp, a management and development consultant. Welcome to Dare to Be Great.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, sir.
Good.
Now, Mr. Kemp, you studied at St. Thomas University and the London School of Economics. How did this education impact your life?
I'd have to say it impacted me tremendously. The exposure I got moving from South Florida, where there's a huge Caribbean population,
yes,
Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Barbadians, and being in almost that relaxed culture, almost like home, I learned a lot from my Caribbean brothers and sisters. They taught me how to loosen up and relax a bit, because I could be kind of a stuffed shirt. It's a good thing. I had a friend of mine who was a DJ, and almost every party he went to, his birthday is today on the 7th, actually, Shane Udlam. And he normally does parties and stuff, so he always dragged me along as well, so I got to loosen up with them. And when I moved to London, it was almost like I was getting back to who I was.
Exactly.
You know, very straightforward, a lot of buildings, very, how would you say, very stiff, very stuffy.
Yes.
But bear in mind, though, the British people know how to have fun.
They
know how
do.
to relax.
Yes.
A lot of pub time, a lot of happy times as well. Even though the weather gets them down, they maintain this snarky cynicism that always keeps them up. And there's a huge Caribbean population there as well. So while there were different cultures, I still had a sense of home in the Caribbean and the Bahamas. So as it impacted my global view and the way I see the world and my education, I think barring being in the institutional setting at St. Thomas at the London School of Economics, I said that cultural experience, I learned a lot more than ever being inside a class.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now you have an interesting name. They say that name means nature, all right? And we normally go in the direction of our names. For instance, I always share this. I'm named after 2 Anglican bishops, Bishop Spence Burton, and my middle name is Michael after Bishop Michael Eldon. And I moved into an area of sort of an evangelism as a motivational speaker. Your name, Youri Aramin Kemp, there must be a significance with the name. Tell us about that.
Mom, believe it or not, she got the name Youri from watching Dr. Zhivago, and I've never seen the movie.
Russian. Yeah, that was a great movie. Great movie, yes, great movie.
So I've been told I'm dying to see it.
Great love story.
Yeah, so and everyone says that.
Yeah,
I have to see it one day. I have to see it one day. But the name Youri, Y-U-R-I, but my name's Y-O-U-R-I. And she took that and she put the O inside.
Okay.
And she did some background research, and Youri means farmer or shepherd.
Wow.
And Aramin, she took it from the Bible for the biblical, for the language that Jesus spoke, Aramaic. So she translated that, so it's chosen by God.
Good
so
stuff.
she went from shepherd, leader, to Aramin, so it's leader chosen by God.
Good stuff, brother, good stuff.
So she was thinking on her feet.
Yes, yes, your mother was a visionary.
Yeah.
Yes, good stuff, good
love
stuff.
Her to death.
Good stuff, man. Also, you know, I noticed that you're a prolific blogger. I mean, that's one of the new catchwords today, the blogger. And I first saw your articles on Caribbean Net News, who I write for periodically. And I was very impressed with what I saw. Hey, there's another Bahamian on here doing some stuff. And from time to time I see them, a guy out of Turks and Caicos write some stuff, contribute to the articles. But I was very impressed with the articles that you wrote. Now, just recently, you wrote a very interesting article on the transportation system in the Bahamas. Let's talk about that for a few minutes, because that's a big story here.
Yeah, transportation, particularly public transportation.
Public transportation,
it's a huge problem. I mean, with regard to the traffic it creates on the streets, bus drivers are not truly regulated the way they should be. And you have a lot of persons.
Ever be regulated?
I have a hope that they will, because I think they can't go forward with that kind of business model, with that kind of chaos and confusion on the streets. And the reason I wrote the article on transportation was to actually shed some light on what they've been doing thus far. And one of the major problems with the public bus unions is that they can't seem to come together on a platform of trust and a platform of transparency where everyone could be given an equal shake in whatever unified bus system that they happen to want to agree on moving forward. So I said, you know, something, since there's a matter of lack of trust, and since there's been such a mess on the streets with regard to everyone having a license to drive a public jitney, a public bus, I said, well, hey, they should first of all come together, present an investment plan, a plan for investment to either an investment bank or the government, and say that, you know something, we want to put a moratorium on all new bus licenses. We're going to come together as a company, and we're going to have what we're going to buy in, more or less, or we're going to have skin in the game. We're going to bring our equity in, the money we've made over the past several years. We're going to invest in this new company, right? And then we're going to offer shares to the public and offer shares to ourselves. Persons who don't want into the new company, who have licenses, they should be paid out gradually as to give sensitivity to their livelihood. But moving forward, there must be two things that we think about when we try to unify the bus system. One must be making sure that the persons who don't want in, they have some sort of equitable transfer, an equitable way out where we don't disrupt their livelihood. And for the persons who want in, make sure they have the kind of backing and support by the government with regard to a moratorium on new bus licenses, as well as the government giving them either equity backing with regard to shares or half ownership in the new company, or giving the kind of backing with regard to bonds and bond covenants that would ensure that the new public transportation system actually stands a chance of surviving, as well as, you know, creating another industry, an industry that can actually pay back its debts if it happens to get a loan for maybe $20–30 million for the new investments.
Right.
Brand new buses, eco-friendly, of course. Create a new industry, as I mentioned, and actually be something that could be traded on the stock exchange, the national stock exchange, and have people participate in that manner. So there are a lot of things we can discuss, but I just wanted to move the debate from where it was.
Let's take it a step further.
Yeah.
You did a good job on that, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell me something. What was the last good book that you read?
Actually, this may strike you funny. I don't read novels and books. The last good book I read was Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was
a great book.
Oh my goodness.
Very popular book.
Yeah, it is. It is very much so.
Very popular book.
I more often I get myself into journals and articles. My idea of light reading is an IMF working paper.
Wow.
You know, that's inflation targeting in emerging market economies. That's what I read.
That's the kind of stuff that
it may sound weird, but that's what I'm interested in.
That's a good thing. Now, I noticed you got a degree in political science, and you love this politics like most Bahamians do. I mean, I spoke to a friend of mine from Cayman, and he said, boy, you Bahamians love your politics. I mean, you just, wherever you go, you just talk about politics and everybody get involved in it. What is your view today of the two political parties in the country? And the second part of the question is, do you think there is an opportunity for a viable third party to survive in the present system that we are in the Bahamas?
I think both political parties, they're trying their best to bring good governance to the country. Right now, we're going through a pretty bad spot. It's a bad global economy, and we can't take that away from the governance that we're seeing now, we perceive to be now. There are a few things that I feel that could have been done differently, but I think given the information and the access to information some of our policymakers have, and what you hear on a daily basis now on all the talk shows, you know, who are the people who are giving you information? How are you getting the information? Are they trustworthy?
Right.
So I think some of those things need to be taken into consideration when we see some of the decisions being made today. Now, with regard to the political parties, I happen to think that while they converge on some issues they definitely stray apart from. One is a free market driven, private sector established wealth driven, which being the F&M, and the other one is, while they do have private market, free market tendencies, they more or less driven by, the PLP more or less driven by the masses, you know, the popular support. Getting resources to the median and middle income voter. That's the kind of politics they play. So with regard to that, they both try on different spectrums to come back to the middle, but basically they've been pretty much doing a pretty good job.
This is a good point for us to take a break. We'll be right back after these messages.
You've been watching Dare to Be Great from the Bahamas with Master Motivator Spence Finlayson. For speaking engagements, seminars, workshops, retreats, and conferences, please call 242-364-4011. Dare to be great.
At Verbal Car Rental, there's